Not as sexy as prep.
And Chris practicing the shirt offs and shirt ons. Everyone knows hard to do. Coach Greg, and who doesn't want an amazing chest? And so in today's video, we're going over advanced training tips from Chris Bumstead in order to help you develop the biggest and most jawsy, I think it's called, chest possible.
Probably the biggest thing I want to bring up this year, just because of the injuries I've had, made me lax on that a little bit, and classic just looks good with a really big full chest. So we're going to be focusing on a bunch of incline movements.
And for the beginners watching this, you can still learn from this, absolutely. However, do not push yourself as hard. When you first join the gym, you do not need to train as intensely as demonstrated by Chris Bumstead.
Starting off here, going to do probably 2 working sets, drop set after, move on to some more machines, some flies, the same old regular bullshit.
And so for each exercise, he's going to warm up and then do 2 working sets followed by a drop set. The last set, that is going to be the hardest one. Beyond failure, doing a drop. And so I think it's important to point out, you start with a lighter weight, you go heavier each time, and as you approach your final set, that is where you can give it your 100% effort. And we're not thinking about doing 1, 2, 3 reps in reserve. We're going all out. We're training harder than last time, and that is how most of the top professionals in the world are actually training. And the first exercise being done is an incline bench press, but not just any bench press, it's actually one on a machine. Using the machine requires less stabilizer muscles, and he's doing this in order to really feel his chest work. He's not ego lifting, he's using lighter weight so he can feel every inch of his muscle contract on the way up and on the way down. But what immediately caught my eye was he's using a thumbless grip. That means the thumb is not wrapped around the bar. This is extremely dangerous. And yes, I've tried both methods, and I do not see one method as being better than the other. For what little benefit you may or may not get from using a thumbless grip, I do not believe it is worth it. The chance of injury is far too great, especially when using free weights, but even on a machine. And you may be watching this and saying, yeah, I've been training this way for 5 years, I've never had an accident. It takes one time, one accident, when you're being careless or perhaps it's not even your fault, and you're done. The bar falls on your neck, crushes your chest, and so on. And you might notice he's not actually touching the chest in this position. You don't have to touch the chest. If you find that by lowering the bar to your chest, it makes your shoulders ache or you're uncomfortable, it's not necessarily. He's still getting a really good range of motion and he's still contracting the chest. He's also moving the bar slowly and in control. And so, although he's not touching his chest, it's not ego lifting. He's not avoiding touching the chest because he wants to lift heavier weights. He's simply doing it because that's how it feels best for him.
Really trying to squeeze my shoulder blades back really far and bend the bar almost
And so Chris discusses just how important it is to properly set up. You need to arch and dig your shoulder blades into the bench. That allows your chest to contract maximally when performing the exercise. He also expresses trying to bend the bar on the way down. That allows him to have the greatest mind-muscle connection. Whatever cues, visual imagery that's required to allow you to contract maximally, just do it. When doing an exercise, it's not about how much weight you're lifting. It's about how does that weight feel to the muscle being used.
Especially my warm-up. I pause at the bottom there, engage my chest, and fire all the way through. So your pec is actually doing the whole movement. It'll hurt your shoulders less in the long term, and it's more effective for your pec.
And so don't take your warm-ups for granted. Chris has sore shoulders. Warming up is important. A lot of people, they just say, it's a warm-up. They put the weight on the bar, and they just go through the motions. Really think of it. Make the warm-up set exactly as you're going to do during the hard set. It's practice. Practice makes perfect. And so as you can see, he's using the pyramid technique. He's going up in weight on each set. And each set, it's getting heavier. This set in particular was about to his maximum capacity. He went as hard as he could. Never did a drop set, not doing force set. But that is the last working set before the all-out set where he goes harder than last time. And he is deliberately using less weight and making it feel harder by slowly lowering the weight under control and lifting it up and slowly concentrating on the muscle being used. He's allowing his muscles to have greater time under tension. That is crucial in order to build maximum muscle. He's conscious that this makes him weaker, but it's okay. It's not about lifting the heaviest weight and impressing people in the weight room. It's about building the most aesthetic, balanced physique without getting injured.
But the weaker you are, the more concentrated it is on the one muscle you want, i.e. your pecs, so the bigger your boobies get.
I love this quote. The weaker you are, the more concentrated you are on that muscle. And so I used to ego lift when I was younger, and the older I got, the wiser I got, the less the weight mattered to me. I'd rather put less weight and concentrate on using proper technique than throwing up the biggest weight with no regard to how my form actually looks. And the last set, 3 plates till failure, stops, takes a plate off, and repeats. That's a drop set. This is an amazing advanced training technique that you can do without even the aid of a partner. I train alone. I do this all the time, in particular with machines. I'll lift to failure, place the peg down about 30%, and repeat the exercise to failure yet again. And if I'm feeling really ambitious, motivated, I can do another drop, double drop, triple drop. My suggestion when doing drops, lift a little bit heavier, perhaps in the 8 to 10 rep range, and then when you drop the weight down, you might get 5 to 8 reps more. If you start off with a really light weight, doing 15 reps and do a drop, the reps are going to be higher than last time. Perhaps you don't want to do a set lasting a minute, minute and a half. And so by using a heavier weight and performing in the single digits, you can do drop sets while keeping the weight heavy, as well as using proper time under tension.
My life just flashed before my eyes.
Oh my God.
That's what happened to Vaughn.
And I don't mean to say I told you so, but remember the thumbless grip that he's using? Well, he tried to re-grab the weight, it didn't stick, and it fell towards his chest. However, he caught it. Caught it in time. If the thumb's under the bar, easier to catch the weight, much less risky. And so we've seen it right here. Visual evidence. Please don't use a thumbless grip.
I was holding it like this too. I would have almost died there.
Oh my God.
But I didn't fully let go. I hit it and caught it.
I mean, Chris is saying it right here. See what I'm talking about? Do I not sound like I know what I'm doing? I literally just started the video saying I don't like the thumbless grip. Chris saying, thumbless grip, did you see that? Good thing I didn't quite let go. Don't use the thumbless grip.
All right, so moving on, second exercise. I absolutely love this machine. I don't know if I've ever spoken about it, but I love it so much. It's like a fly press cable movement.
And so Chris, he loves this machine. It's like a fly press cable movement. He's starting out to the side and pressing and going inwards. This is a great exercise to do. I'm not a favor of it. I find it takes a lot of balance. But anytime you start outwards and your hands come closer together and allows you to squeeze the pec fibers, that is a good exercise to do for your chest.
And I also like how this one's right beside the mirror, so I can cheat and just look over and line up with my elbow. So if your elbow's down here and the weight's up here, that kind of pull is going to your rotator cuff either way.
And so definitely, it's not an arm wrestling competition. You don't want the weights too high and you start pressing like this. It's not an arm wrestle. You want it in line. The joints in line, the wrist, the elbow in line pushing, same as when you're doing a bench press. And so as you can see, Chris is using excellent technique. He's slowly lowering the bar. He's not in a rush. He's squeezing his muscle throughout the range of motion, both on the concentric and on the eccentric. And to end his rep, he can't quite lock out the weight. That means he's going to failure. But no, that's not enough. It's advanced training right now. You can go harder than last time by doing partial reps. So if you can't quite lock out the entire rep, that doesn't mean the set has to be over. You can go 3/4 of the way up, halfway up, a quarter, and then you're done. That allows you to train beyond failure without having a partner.
Didn't notice already. This is a sneak peek at the merch shop.
And don't forget to go and watch Chris' original video, and he will be releasing Savage clothing. It's a sneak peek. And so if you like Chris, you can go follow him, support him, purchase the Savage release when it drops. And so it's as simple as that. He places down the weight, takes the peg out, lowers the weight, and repeats the set. And so it's simple. Anyone can do this. You don't need a training partner. When you can no longer get any more reps, you take the peg, drop it a notch, and repeat the set till failure yet again.
Surprise, surprise, moving on the incline machine press here. Always love this machine. I like lowering myself low into the seat, so I'm able to press high and kind of get that tight contraction of my upper pec up there.
And even though you may not have a variety of equipment, you can in fact make the same machine feel differently. Chris mentions he likes to lower the seat so that he's using more of the upper chest as he's pressing during this motion.
It's time. Oh, I don't even know if my shoulder can take this off right now. Not as sexy as press.
And Chris practicing the shirt offs and shirt ons. Everyone knows hard to do. And again, as you can see, goes to failure, removes the plate, goes to failure again. Only this time, he's holding the weight isometrically, not letting the bar fall. What this does increases the metabolic damage to the muscle. The muscle's continuing to have to work. Even though the weight is not moving, it doesn't mean the muscle is not working. It's working against gravity, trying to stop the bar from going down. That places greater demand stress, increases time under tension, and forces his body into new muscle growth. And when using the pec deck, I do caution you, try not to start with the weight behind you on both sides. That puts your chest in a very weak position. Oftentimes it's best to grab one side, move it to the front, then reach over and grab the other. If you simply stretch back as far as you can with a heavy load and pull, that can in fact injure your chest. And as you can see, partial range of motion yet again. You begin with full range of motion. When you fatigue, simply go at the peak. Not every single rep has to go through the full range of motion. You can mix it up. Remember, these are advanced training techniques. Perhaps you did 10 full reps and add 10 partials at the end. Just do whatever allows you to train harder without risking injury. And there, Chris doing what I'd recommend, grabbing one side, bringing it to the center, reaching over for the other. That prevents his chest from overstretching and perhaps doing damage to his shoulders. And as you can see, Chris again going beyond failure, training with partial reps. And so you might think, no, you can't train too hard. You got to leave 1 to 3 reps in the tank. That's how the best people grow. However, we're not seeing this with Chris. This is a real world example. You can't just go with science. Science this, science that. Sometimes people need to train different than what the science says. There is no research working with IFBB Pro bodybuilders saying, how hard should you train? Chris is using advanced training techniques, going beyond failure, and well, how can you argue with the results? 3-time Mr. Olympia champion, training harder than last time, beyond failure, and so I agree with Chris.
So that's going to be a wrap on today's chest day. Trying to get nice and juicy. I had to put my shirt back on because I was getting a little chilly, losing the pump too. You can't look skinny at the end of a workout.
And as Chris says, that's a wrap. Don't forget you can join my newsletter list. We are going to be giving away free training programs. That's right, free. Can you believe it? As well as free nutrition plans. You want free stuff? Please join the newsletter subscription list. Also, 5 free recipes from the Anabolic Cookbook and free giveaways, weekly giveaways. And don't forget, harder than last time supplements, including turkesterone. Also, Chris Bumstead, he has supplements too. Go watch Chris, follow, do what you need to do. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IP Pro. The bottom bloop and then the top. Switch it around, mix things up. Don't forget the cookbooks, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team, phone consults. Subscribe, click the freaking bell button, comment for the algo, and until next time, I am out.